A very good day, my dear postgraduate students. This class started with a suggestion on the wire loop lesions from one of my students and ended up in the renal lesions on SLE for SNP for postgraduates. Short notes in pathology. Always think of the subheadings. The subheadings will take you to the answer. It can be introduction, the renal lesions, patterns, the structure of the glomerulus, very, very important, pathogenesis and classification. SLE is a prototype of an autoimmune disorder, the other being rheumatoid arthritis. And almost every organ system is affected. Hematological manifestations 100%, joints in 85%, skin again another 85%, and the kidney 50 to 60% of cases. There can be a family history and an association with HLA DQ locus. There is always a deficiency of complements C2, C4, C1q, and environmental factors are also been suggested. Type 3 hypersensitivity has been implicated in the form of floating immune complexes or the antibody against an implanted antigen. The lesions. I would like you people to kindly by heart this particular list of active lesions and the chronic lesions. I shall be going through it in the subsequent slide. This is a beautiful picture of the structure of the glomerulus which I picked up from this reference. So there is a glomerulus with the parietal capsule, the Bowman space, and a tuft of capillaries lined by the endothelium and the epithelium supported by the mesangium. Also, you find that there can be the distal and the proximal convoluted tubules over here. Kidney in the SLE. Again, the incidence, immune complex is being deposited not only in the glomeruli but also in the tubules and the interstitium. These are the areas subepithelial, subendothelial, or in the mesangial region. And they are anti-DNA antibodies, the histones along the basement membrane. Thrombi formation can also be seen in the blood vessels. And grossly, you find that the kidney is affected bilaterally, symmetrically. It is enlarged initially and later on contracted. There is a flea-bitten kidney that is seen in this picture, thanks to Wikipedia. Mesangial lupus glomerulonephritis. This is the incidence. I will not be repeating it. Immune complexes are being deposited in the mesangium. Naturally, there will be a mesangial cell proliferation. And class 1 and class 2 manifest. There can be granular IgG deposits which can be demonstrated by means of immunofluorescence. Complement deposition is also seen. Class 3, class 4 can be superimposed on this. So this is formed. Here again, it is a schematic picture. Thanks to ResearchGate, I find that there can be subendothelial, subepithelial, or the mesangial deposits with injury. And various manifestations are there. Focal proliferative. This occurs in 20 to 35% of the cases. When I say focal, less than 50% of the glomeruli are being involved. It can be focal and segmental. So there can be the formation of a crescent, fibrinoid necrosis, endothelial cell, mesangial cell, and neutrophils can be proliferating. Thrombi can be present. Thanks to Arcana, a very beautiful reference for diagrams. And this is a mesons trichome that is shown in diffuse proliferative. I am able to see a crescent. The crescent must be occupying more than 50% of the circumference. There is a proliferation and an obliteration of the Bowman space that is seen. More than 50% of the glomeruli are involved in it. These are the manifestations: hematuria, proteinuria, and renal insufficiency. This is a very important picture. I find that there is a normal capillary, and then there can be active lesions as is shown over here, and finally it ends up with the chronic lesions with fibrosis. There can also be thrombus formation. And in the other lesions, it very beautifully depicts an atherosclerotic plaque over here. Thanks to R.A.T.S. And this is again another beautiful schematic picture with the various mediators being released. And these are the inflammatory cells. I find that there is an epithelium, the basement membrane, the endothelium, and the mesangium. Finally, there is a complement deposition, cross-reactive antigens, and circulating immune complexes. In the membranous glomerulonephritis, wherein the classical wire loop lesion occurs. As is seen over here, I am finding a thickened loop that is surrounding the capillary. So it occurs in a diffuse thickening of the capillary wall, 15 to 20% of the cases in class 5. And there is a diffuse thickening. Membranous glomerulonephritis in 10 to 15% of the cases. It belongs to class 5. There is a diffuse thickening of the capillary wall, which results in a wire loop lesion. There can be focal type 3 and type 4 also present. Granular deposit, mesangial, membranous, subepithelial, and subendothelial can be seen. And there is a deficiency of C1q and IgA nephropathy also comes into play. In this case, electron microscopy and immunofluorescence, I find that the mesangial deposit is extending its claw in the basement membrane in between the epithelial and the endothelial cell. And here again, there is a subendothelial granular deposit of IgG seen in type 4. And in this case, a beautiful diagram of the pathogenesis, which all of us should know. So these all have been covered, but these are the mediators. The podocyte with the decrease in the vascular endothelial growth factor, angiotensin 1, angiotensin 2, endothelin 1. And also in the endothelial cell, these all are being reduced, so also in the mesangial cell. And subsequently, you find that there can be a podocyte injury, endothelial injury, recruitment of the inflammatory cells, the myeloid cells shown over here, and the mesangial cell undergoes proliferation. Now, this is the classification from the research gate and the manifestations. What is the histology, what is the clinical manifestation, and the prognosis? I would like you people to kindly go through this one. And also this. You find that there will be initially a nephrotic syndrome, there can be a hematuria, proteinuria, and there can be a normal renal function. Finally, you find that there can be an elevated creatinine. There can be an end-stage renal disease that is developing and ending the story. So this is again a recall type of classification, 1974. Important. What happens to the mesangium? There can be normocellularity or hypercellularity. Again, focal proliferative, diffuse proliferative, and membranous. This is an important classification. I would like you people to by heart this one. Class 1, nil or normal glomeruli. So, normal by light microscopy or all techniques. So, there won't be much of deposits. Class 2, pure mesangial alterations are present. Mesangial widening, hypercellularity, or moderate cellularity. Focal segmental associated with mesangial alterations. Necrosis can be present, sclerosis can be present. And type 4 is diffuse with active necrotizing lesion, active sclerosing lesions. And diffuse membranous associated with all the 3 categories mentioned earlier. And class 6 is advanced sclerosing glomerulonephritis. So this is an important diagram that is mentioning the same. Here you find that there is a mesangial deposit, which is black in color. And in class 2, I find that there are immune deposits. There is a proliferation of the mesangial cells, hypercellularity. And in class 3, 4, I find that mesangial and capillary influx, I find that there is the inflammatory cell that is present. And in class 5, you find numerous subepithelial deposits, but no influx of the leukocytes over here. In these two, there is an influx of the leukocytes which are present along with the deposits. So this is a beautiful diagram. If you can concentrate and draw this, you get the marks.